That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, everybody, to an impromptu, wasn't planning to have, didn't want to have, wasn't going to have, worst case scenario edition of the Always Irish Show. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Things are off the rails early, folks. They're off the rails early. I wasn't going to do a post-game show. I figured it would just be kind of ugly, but we would pull it out and then we would complain about it, but in a win. This is a worst case scenario, you guys. This is a worst case scenario. So welcome in, everybody. I don't know what you're drinking or what you're going to drink. I don't know. If you follow my show at all, you know I'm never at a loss for words. I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to make of this. It's hard to say this feels non-catastrophic, but how can I look at this and not have it feel catastrophic? How? How? This is rough. So thanks for everybody for joining me. YouTube, as always, hit subscribe. If you're here and you haven't already, hit subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Helps in the search algorithm. Notifications on you. Be alerted every time a new Notre Dame coach can't win a game. You'll be alerted every time. I am. What do you guys think? I'm open to ideas. What do you think? This is. There's a lot of things wrong. Where do you even start? The first place to start is you can't even really just talk about the game now, because now Buckner might be hurt too. So it isn't even just about this game now. Now he might be hurt. It's an absolute catastrophic worst case freaking scenario. It is. This is the worst case scenario that can possibly happen right now for this program, and it's happening. The worst possible thing that could happen to this program's happening right now. It is. If you go back to a lot of the pregame stuff or preseason stuff, a lot of the stuff I did, I was saying, you're looking big picture at this year. What are you looking for Notre Dame? One of the first things you're looking for is, I said, Buckner has to be healthy and he has to be good all year for Notre Dame to accomplish any of their stated goals. That was just a prerequisite to get anything done you wanted to do. Not only did Buckner have to stay healthy, but he had to be good too. Now you got questions about both. One for sure, maybe both. I don't know. But this is, somebody in the chat tell me this feels catastrophic. Somebody tell me it's not in reality practically as bad as it feels to me. Somebody tell me that. Somehow, some way. Give it to me. We went over this morning. That feels like it was 20 freaking hours ago when we did the show this morning. And we went over it. And what we said about this ball game today was, you're out of excuses, Marcus. I was saying with the bowl game, all right, weird timing. You got the job. You're all over the country doing these interviews and this and that. And not a normal bowl prep. Half the staff's looking for their next job. All of that, fine. Weird. I could give you the bowl games weird. I could give you that. Then we have the big break. Then we roll into the season. Well, guess what? Next thing you know, Ohio State, week 1. So then people are understanding of that because it's Ohio State. All right, week 1, right away, all that. People get it. You don't have it this week. You're out. You're done. You have there isn't. That was it. You had 2 and you use your 2. You don't get 3. Strike 3. You don't get 3. You had 2, but you don't get 3. You just don't. You don't get 3. Not in this situation. You don't get 3. You had 2. You had two. All right. You had them. People understood those two. They did. And even in that, it feels loserish to talk about. Building in these excuses for the first two ball games, all right? So it felt loserish building in those excuses for the first two ball games. But I logically could understand those unique dynamics with those two situations. Today, man, what's so disturbing is today had to be the day to steady everything. Today had to be the day to level the ship. Like, let's try and get to these super chats. I'm sorry, guys. I'm worked up. Paid that team $1.2 million to beat that ass. They beat that ass all day. God, I give them so much credit. That's the other thing. Do you know what losers and idiots people like me are that go in the paper and on those blogs and write your predictions for the ball game? You know what an idiot I am? I did that. I have predictions in the USA today for this ball game. So, you know who looks stupid? Me. This is absurd. I missed another super chat. I see people calling. We're going to get to it. I got to get out what I got to get out first before we open those floodgates. So earlier this morning, I said, could you imagine? I'm sitting there. I said, could you freaking just imagine in your mind for a second a scenario where Notre Dame comes home against Marshall and has like single-digit points going into the half? I jokingly said they're going to boo Marcus Freeman off the field halftime of the first game. I feel like I heard it. I swear to God, I feel like there were some boos there. It happened. You have problems a lot of places. And this was the week, you guys. You had to stabilize things. I told you, you had the first two. People get it. You don't get three. You had your two. And you used them. So all of the niceties about Marcus Freeman's personality and how much we love him and how genuine he is, what a snazzy dresser he is. I took crap for complimenting what a snazzy dresser he is. All of that. Loves Notre Dame, all of it. It isn't going to matter anymore. You're up, buddy. You're out. You have no more leeway. It's gone. You have no more leeway. So life just got a lot more stressful on Freeman and Reese. And Golden too. They got dominated today by this team. This team came to your place and dominated you. They did. They owned the perimeter all day. They owned the perimeter. They were getting first down runs by the chunk, 6-7 yards on first down runs. And the other thing is too, here's the other thing that I don't know how to measure. I don't know how to measure this. Somebody tell me this. How do you measure this defense, this Notre Dame defense? How do you measure it when you know the extent of which the offense puts the defense in bad positions every game? Like when you look at the defense or you get frustrated at some of the defensive lapses in this ball game or whatever, getting worn down against Ohio State, I'm having a hard time parsing out how much of it is I don't know. I feel like the defense is hanging in there, and they'd be a lot better if the offense was a normal offense and moved the ball and ate up a decent amount of time and did normal offensive things. I feel like our defense is always on their heels because they're out there 24/7. This offense can't score, man. Oh, God, the running game. Don't get me started. Starting 3, $4.99 season is lost. Get rid of Reese. Let the young guy get the reps. Hey, here's the thing about that. Starting 3. Here's the thing about that is now the dynamics of this year have changed significantly. this game, this outcome significantly alters things a lot the rest of this season. It has to. It has to. It does. This kind of outcome has to have consequences. And if those consequences are in the first 2 weeks of the year, you've blown your chance to play for anything anybody around here cares about. Now it's time to play the young kids and live through some of those struggles. You put yourself in that position. But you got problems now. I tweeted late first half when they started running the ball with Buckner and it was working. And it was the only thing moving the ball consistently. I tweeted, you really shouldn't have to or need to or really even want to have Buckner run the ball this much and take hits against a team like Marshall. You shouldn't want to have to do that, but it wasn't an option. We had to do that. And then the final sentence I put is, you're playing with fire here. Fast forward, boom, there's your guy. And half the fan base has already written him off too. So even if he was healthy, I don't know if anybody wants him. We got a full-on dumpster fire. Nobody likes Reese. Everybody wants Harry to stay retired. Freeman doesn't know what he's doing. I saw Al Golden called Al 10 on Twitter, which is hilarious no matter what mood I'm in. That's funny. That's funny no matter what mood I'm in. It is. So nobody's happy with anything. And even if our starting quarterback was healthy, people don't like him anymore anyways. So what do we have here? That's where I'm really struggling. What do we have here? How do we find solid footing? Because it's all bad. It's all bad. Like, that's the issue. Normally, you could, find some stuff to like. Like, I guess if you like a lot of what the defense did for a while, fine. There were mini flashes of some rhythm offensively, but then there would be a mistake that would halt it and ruin and kill it all. So it didn't even get us anywhere. So there were bouts of rhythm with the offense, but not nearly enough to sustain anything. And again, people are a lot more open to that result against Ohio State than Marshall. But God, those guys played good. They came in South Bend and they deserved that win 100%. That Marshall team earned and deserved that win 100%. I'm an idiot. I'm an imbecile. I acted like this was a game for Notre Dame to work on things and work out the kinks. Idiot. They don't care about any of that. You see on TV when they were talking about Marshall came in here a day early and they're not getting caught up in the starstruckness of looking up at the stadium Rockney built. You think those guys give a shit about Notre Dame Stadium? No. They wanted to go in there and beat ass. They wanted it more. They played harder. They played better, and they won. Great day for Marshall. Humiliating day for Notre Dame. Awful look for Marcus Freeman. I'm sorry. I love him. I like his vibe. I love his potential. I'm on the books on being in on him early. All of that's true. But there's no way to polish this turd. Like I said, you had 2 of those already. This couldn't be the one. At home, 20.5-point favorite. This couldn't be the one. No, you don't get 3. And the third, if you're going to have a third, it can't be this. You're in trouble. And you got to find a way to level things out. Normally, somebody like me would say, well, you got Cal next week. That should be a good opportunity to find your legs under you. Well, I can't count on that. I can't count on that. I can't count on anything now. That's the thing. Bowl game, different story. New group this year. Ohio State, its own unique story. This one changes your trust level. I can't trust anything now. Regardless of what happens with the quarterback situation and the injury, I can't trust anything going on now. You do this to me today, I can't trust you, dude. You leave me no option. You can't be trusted. This is, when I say worst case scenario, I mean it. I mean across the board. Worst case scenario. I guess the only way it could be worse is if 10 more guys got hurt than did, I guess. But as we sit, this is brutal. I mean, this is bad. Do any of you guys have any answers? Like, the thing is, I don't even know, how do you go about fixing this? That's the other issue. How do you go about fixing this? Because it isn't one or two little things you could shore up. You have major issues here all over. All over now you have issues. I know the defense was out there for a while. They started getting pushed around. They were giving up gashes, and they started missing tackles, and then there's some bad angles. They did not own the day up front and on the perimeter. They made their plays. They made a decent amount of plays. Marshall owned the perimeter all day. That was a mistake. And then Notre Dame did get pushed around. First down runs went for 6 or 7 yards all game. You can't live that way. You can't live that way. You just can't. I mean, and then the other thing is, I don't want to think about this, but right when this all started going downhill, I got a million tweets and texts saying, you think Notre Dame's top end of the recruiting class was in trouble in the summer? What's going to happen now? Now that you have this 2-game body of work to negatively recruit against Notre Dame on? I don't know, but nobody's going to tell me that's not fair to ask either, because you know how it is. People get in people's ears, and these kids, these recruits, and I get it. It's like, if you love Notre Dame and you believe in their mission, then you're going to go there no matter what. I get that. But that's how you and I think about them. I'm not sure all these kids do. I'm not sure all these recruits and families see it that way. So it's fair to ask, because you're in a tough spot. So I'm at a loss. This is worst case scenario, folks. This is it. It really is. I'm not mad at Marcus yet, but come on, John. We know Reese needs to go. I mean, you have problems. And the issue is, listen, this is what I said last week too. We knew there are personnel deficiencies and issues offensively. We all know that. We acknowledge that. We all know this. We all know that. We know that, okay? It couldn't be this bad. It just couldn't. It couldn't be this bad. Like last week and this week, your issues be damned, it couldn't look like this. So there are a lot deeper issues here than I even thought. And to me, it looks like they run deeper than personnel. And the offensive line is not as good as I thought they'd be early. That's going to compound every issue you have. All right. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but we're going to do it. 850, you're on the line first.
What's up, man? It's Jerry Wilson.
What's up, man? What do you make of this? Hey, you called it. Jerry, man. You called it.
Yeah, I told you, bro.
You called it. I look like an idiot. You were right.
Golden is trash and will destroy your program.
I can't believe it, man. I admit it. You told me that they were going to win, and I told you crazy. I think I said you're on drugs, and it looks like I need drugs. You were right. You win.
You said I was giving you a stroke.
Man, well, if you were going to give me a stroke, what's going to happen now?
Well, man, I don't know. And hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but I am Notre Dame neutral. I'm actually a Miami Hurricanes fan. We dealt with Al Golden for 4.5 years.
I'm surprised you're going to tell me you like Miami and you're neutral to Notre Dame, though. Not many Miami people are neutral to Notre Dame. That's a rarity.
I'm realistic. I'm realistic about college football. I love it. It's what I live.
Oh man. So what would you do to solve this for Notre Dame? What's your advice to Marcus Freeman? What should he do next week against mighty Cal?
Man, to be honest with you, you gotta run the ball better, and you got to use some misdirection.
Yeah.
Al Golden has got to get the defense making tackles. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's rough. And now I don't know what's up with the quarterback situation though. You're in trouble then. If you're already in week 2 and then you have a quarterback issue, that's going to complicate things. So there is a lot going on here. None of it's good. None of it's good. There's not one thing going on that's good.
I agree with
there
you.
ain't. There's not one positive. There isn't. Even the glass half full people, there ain't. This one, there isn't. This is a bad look.
Well, really what it boils down to is this is going to be a gut check for your team. And they're either going to rise to the occasion and they're going to go through the process of becoming very well at their fundamentals, or they might fall apart. And I don't want to see that, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, it's all very, very frustrating. I don't even know where you start dissecting this and putting it all back together, because there's issues across the board. I can't even find like something to lean on. I'm at a loss. What do you make of Reese in the offense? What do you think's the biggest problem you see with that operation?
I think Reese needs to make some better decisions after the snap of the ball for sure. I'm not really looking too negatively on your head coach. I think he's a good guy. I think he can coach football, but he's going to have to make some tough decisions, and he's going to have to get maybe a different personnel set that's willing to do the fundamentals and play football.
Yeah, what a rough start. But Jerry, thanks for the call. I got a bunch of callers. I'm going to whiz through faster than I normally do, but you were right. You called it and I was wrong. You were right, Jerry. You win 1-0 you.
That's all right, man.
You win.
That's all right. I'll keep tuned though. You guys, good luck this season.
Thank you. Good on you though. You won that one and I admit it. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
I don't like that, but he told me. I mocked him. I asked if that guy was on drugs when he said that they were going to win, and I said it was going to cause me a stroke. And look what I'm doing. It might. The night is young. 951. Let's have some fun. You're on the air. (951), you with me? 951, they're drunk. They put the phone down. They passed out. They didn't want to deal with this either. Oh, 402, I'm talking to you.
Hello?
You're on the air. What do you think of all this?
Oh, God, I can't even begin.
Where do you start?
So
how do you dissect it? Tell me where you start. How do you dissect it and put it all back together? I'm open to ideas.
All right.
Tell me, where do you start?
I'm thinking, honestly, Marshall, they could compete for a national championship. I think we did our best out there today.
You think they're that good, or do you think a lot of it had to do with what we didn't do? Like, where's that line?
I'm going to be straight up with you, man. I miss Kelly. I need him back. Freeman isn't the answer.
I have seen other people say on Twitter that under Kelly, you don't lose a game like this. And I probably think that's correct. And it would have been ugly and sloppy, but he would have found a way to win it by like 6 points or, 10 or something. And then we would have complained, but we still would have won. But that doesn't undo the fact that there was never any higher end upside end of the tunnel, light at the end of the tunnel with Kelly. So like that would have got you to a certain extent, but you still weren't going to get to the ultimate goal. So I see that both ways.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there, but I thought Butker played his ass off today. He played great, played some of the best football I've seen in a long time, but I think defense has got to step up. They got to make plays when we need them made.
Yeah, and you know what else I want to ask? Even though the defense has been holding up, and they held their own most of the night against Ohio State, that 21 is a winning effort all day against that Ohio State team. It is. That's a winning effort. Even with them holding up, where are the turnovers? Especially if our offense can't be relied upon for anything. I need big splash plays, turnovers, pick six, strip sacks. Like, we need them because we don't score any other way. Like, where are those big action plays?
Yeah, we're just missing those big plays this year. That's the difference between winning and losing.
So where do you go from here then? Like if you're Freeman, where do you start? Where do you even start tomorrow? Like putting this all back together?
I think Freeman walks in, he throws the towel down, tells him he's gone. That's what we need.
He does what?
I think Freeman calls it quits. He ain't the answer. He's nothing but worthless piece of trash.
Come on. I thought you were ripping my chain here a little bit. Do you mean it?
I mean it. I miss Kelly. Kelly was the answer. I thought Kelly was working his way up. Freeman, he's working his way down. He's about to ruin this program.
So you don't think that the body of work you've seen from him is too small to make that grand proclamation already? Like, how could you know in 2.5 games? I'm not even going to count the bowl game fully against Freeman's record. That's enough?
I mean, Marshall? Are you kidding me? Marshall?
But Kelly had Tulsa, right? Like, I mean, I guess but Tulsa was at home. Like, I guess I'm asking, don't you owe it to Freeman more than 3 games body of work? Are you trolling me? Is this all just to get me worked up? Is this Uncle Lou or something on a prank call?
Okay. I give him a couple more games, see how he's feeling, but right now, I want him gone. I want him out.
And then what? Nobody's happy with Golden or Reese. So then what would you do? Even if that happened, what would you do?
I mean, Nebraska's about to throw out Scott Frost. We can get him. He led UCF to that great season. He could do it for us too. Or Urban Meyer. I mean, he's all around the place, you know?
I think that's early on Freeman. While I'm extremely frustrated and there's no excuse for today, I happen to think that's way too early, but I am not denying, I'm not saying things are perfect. There are major issues, man. I can't go nearly as far as you. You got to give this guy at least, he's going to get, you do know, he's going to get a few years at least. He's got a 6-year deal. You know he's not going anywhere. They're going to let him recruit a few cycles and develop himself. You're going to be, if you don't like him, you're stuck with him for a handful of years. You really are.
Shit, I'm a Georgia fan now. I mean, screw this team, honestly.
I'm done with
the disappointment.
Stick with them. Freeman will get it turned around, but I do respect your frustration. Hang in there, man. Okay?
I respect that. Great talk, sir.
Take care, man. Have a good one. Hang in there. Don't give up on him.
You too.
Have a good one. Yep. Oh, man. I don't know what we're getting into tonight, guys. I don't know what we're getting into, man. This is getting wild, dude. I don't know what I signed up for. I was hesitant to do this. I don't know, man. This is getting wild, but here's the thing. Freeman deserves criticism right now. Freeman deserves criticism. There's no excuses for what the hell we just saw. He's going to be around a bunch of years. They are going to give him plenty of time to do this and flip the roster, learn to be a head coach. Like they just are. But I can't go that far. And then it's awkward when you're on the phone with them because then you don't know whether you're being trolled. I don't know, man. This is just kind of trial and error on something like this. Daryl says, John, yell at something. You already missed a bunch of them. You must have got in here late, son. Elk, $72. ND fan said, y'all playoff team. That was never said on my channel ever. I did say, especially after last week, that if you ended up going 11-1, you would be in position at the end of the year on conference championship day to sit there and play the annual Notre Dame 1-loss game of hoping whoever you need to win or lose wins or loses, and it all falls your way and you get in as the 4 seed. I did say that was on the table if you went 11-1. That's obviously off the table. And you have big problems. You're in trouble. The quarterback thing's bad. Usually I'm the guy way overly negative and other people buoy me back to make me realize it isn't that bad. This is bad. Today was a worst case scenario, folks. It was. This was the worst case outcome. Back to the phones. 224. Give me some more. You're on the line.
Hey, what's up, John? It's Andrew. How's it going?
Not that great, to be honest with you. What do you,
Not good.
how do you even react to this? Like, I don't even know what to make of it. This is the worst case scenario, man.
Well, I mean, I almost think it's silly to even analyze the game. I mean, to get pushed around by Marshall, it was the effort. I mean, no effort today. But I got a question for you. What did Chris Tyree do to Tommy Reese to like be essentially relegated to a scat back? I mean, wasn't he supposed to be the heir apparent to Kyron Williams? And I felt like he was the only guy in the backfield that showed anything. That guy, Estime, I'm honestly haven't played football in 15 years, and I think my 40 time is the same as Estime. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I don't know. I mean, I honestly, John, I would love for you to pull up the schedule, and at what point do you say, hey, this is just a total dumpster fire? Because I'm not confident they're going to beat Cal, and if they lose to Cal, I mean, look at the rest of their schedule. Then they're at BYU and Las Vegas. Then we'll find out tonight if Stanford's any good. But
well, that's why I was saying.
0-5.
But that's why I was saying this game really changes things because you add it really does. Like, it changes the way you look at everything the rest of the year, and it has to. Like, you need to shift everything that was in your mind looking forward to this season, because you are not where anybody thought we would be or wanted to be or needs us to be. And it's a problem. And this is rough. I mean, it's a worst case scenario, and you have no more flexibility at all. And if you're going to be like this, every game on the schedule, you could lose. This changes things. This opens you up to a really rough year. And I don't want to think about what that can do to recruiting.
Well, and recruiting, it's what do you think? First of all, what do you think Michael Mayer's making right now? I mean, when does he say, "Hey, I got a fake ankle injury. I'm going to shut it down so it doesn't ruin my draft stock"? And I honestly think the same thing for Bosky. That this could turn into dumpster fire very, very quickly if they don't come out and whip Cal next week. It could get seriously like Charlie Weiss final season ugly. I'm not kidding around.
You need to stabilize. And that's really what I thought today was going to be. I honestly did. I thought today was about stabilization, getting that first win for Marcus, in your third try, third time's a charm, get it done, work on things, move on, build on it against Cal. And then we get into slightly more difficult opponents with North Carolina, BYU, and Vegas after that. This changes everything. Now you're in scramble mode. You're in desperation mode. And it changes the whole discussion for the year. It would change to me who you even play sometimes. Because with 2 losses after 2 weeks, it changes your season outcome. So you have to balance now with getting better in the future. It changes everything. It really does. This was brutal.
I would say that the one silver lining, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, and I'm thinking big picture, is that I just think that the Notre Dame administration has just been so arrogant for so long. Our lack of being able to get anybody in the transfer portal because we won't, accept certain credits and stuff like that. If I look at the quarterback situation, I think if Freeman is the talent evaluator you think he is, you would think that they would have tried to go out and get at least a transfer quarterback to compete for the starting job. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if we give Buckner the benefit of the doubt that, a tough game today, receivers not getting open, did we even get one wide receiver transfer? No. So it's just my thought is Sportbook and the administration need to wake up in the NIL era and the transfer era. You've got to be open and flexible. They have a real talent gap at wide receiver and no depth. One running back injury away from no depth in that field. And then they didn't get a quarterback, so now you're stuck with Buckner and Pine. Pine looks like a little person. I mean, it was ridiculous out there. It makes me think what Ron Paulus Jr., how terrible that guy must be, because Pine, I mean, that guy's not even sniffing the field. It's Angeli's the third string. So Yeah, I just think they've got to figure things out. Harry Houston should be ashamed of himself. The offensive line got pushed around by what are they, Conference USA defensive line? I mean, unbelievable. I'm not feeling great. This could be 2016 all over again.
But even if, God, here I am sounding like a Freeman apologist. Like, I hate putting myself in this position, but here I find myself again. What I would say to that is going 4-8 as Brian Kelly being there a bunch of years has to still be looked at differently than a guy in his first year building something. Even if those records are the same,
Yeah.
I'm going to look at them differently. But the issue is this wasn't supposed to be that. Like you were supposed to pick up and run, not have this kind of a drop back. It's alarming. It's very alarming.
That's what I'm saying, John. Because in your last, I don't know, it was 2 callers ago. Basically, you brought up Tulsa when Brian Kelly lost at Tulsa, but I think the big difference is Brian Kelly inherited, crap from Charlie Weiss. Come on, I mean, it was a total rebuild. According to the AP pollers, Marcus Freeman inherited a top 10 team from Brian Kelly. So it's a totally different situation. I'm truly concerned about their talent evaluation. I mean, based on what we've seen from Buckner, how they thought that they didn't need to go out and potentially get a transfer quarterback. I know they tried to talk to Keaton Slovis a little bit, but I mean, that's really concerning to me that they don't know how to evaluate talent the way, I guess Brian Kelly did. I wasn't that bad when Brian Kelly left, but now I'm like, geez, this is not good. They did not know how to evaluate the quarterback room. That's scary stuff.
Yeah, it is. But also at the same time, I'm also going to blame Brian Kelly for some of the dynamics in the quarterback room because of the things Brian Kelly did or didn't do when he was at Notre Dame that are now our issue now with depth and where's the elite proven talent in that room. And again, I hate saying that. I'm not trying to be a guy blaming Brian Kelly for this tonight. No, Marcus Freeman, this is a bad look. I love you, but this is a very bad look, man. Bad look. There's no excuse.
In all honesty, though, if you're going to say that, remember they used to say that Kelly would, had too much of his hands on the offense. He needs to let the coordinator develop it. And so he did. And on both sides of the ball, he kind of took a step back. He let first it was Mike Elko, and then it was the other guy, and then Freeman take over the defense. And then I imagine he still had his hands a little bit on the offense, but he let Tommy Rees sort of do his thing. So my thought, though, is you have to give Brian Kelly credit last year for bringing in Jack Cohn. I mean, I know he was a statue, but that guy could actually throw. And it's really concerning to me that they looked at the quarterback room with Drew Pine and Buckner and thought, we're good. We don't need to try to maybe bring in, even like Marshall brings in this guy, former Texas Tech quarterback. I mean, just somebody, even a 3-star backup from or maybe had some playing time in the Pac-12, somebody who's thrown the ball around a little bit. They brought in no one, and now you're stuck because it's Buckner or bust. I think Pine proved today that he's not up there. So, I mean, you got to hope that Buckner's shoulder's not like he didn't break his collarbone or something like that.
I know
he's
it's
all you
rough.
got, and yeah.
Man, there's just good
Michael
solutions.
Mayer needs to. And by the way, I'd be worried about their strength and conditioning coach. I mean, Michael Mayer is supposed to be this first-round draft pick tight end. I think he's 20 pounds overweight. He's lumbering out there. He's their number one target, and he's way, way too big. He should lose 15 pounds. That would be my advice for him before he goes to the NFL. I think he's 265, something like that. It's way too big. So they literally have nobody who can stretch the field. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really tough. Now, how much, let me ask you this, like you were talking about some of these decisions with trying to find a transfer quarterback or the urgency and need of that. I'm going to even build in some of that with the way the 2023 quarterback position was recruited, kind of going all in on one guy. And then if you don't get him, now you're in a rough spot for that year. With all those items, Are you open to the idea that these are things that a new coach just has to navigate and figure out? And maybe in 2 or 3 years, Marcus will have a better feel for how these things go, not only nationally, but at Notre Dame, what he can get away with, pull off or not. Like, are you open to that kind of development? Or do you just think that's something right now you got to have or you don't have?
Well, I honestly, I think, well, to your first question, I think they were super arrogant to go all in on Dante Moore, especially if they didn't realize that he was all about the NIL money. Because I think in the end, Oregon rolled out the cash, and so that was really like poorly played on their part. But I mean, I think at this point you can't bet on 2023. They're trying to flip PJ Carr to come early. I don't think you can rely on that. He won't be ready to play. So, but I think that's irrelevant at this point. If he needs to focus on next week. If he goes 0-3, I know you're saying that he might get 2 years, but Jesus Christ, you go 0-3 and then you're playing at North Carolina. I'd be scared that he might not last the season if it turns into a dumpster fire. They might just say, hey, you know what, we got one of the largest endowments.
But I don't think. But listen, but I don't think you can.
Cut ties and go on and hire Luke Fickell.
But I don't think you could do.
Who was the guy they wanted in the first place? They wanted Luke Fickell in the first place, but then they got pressured into hiring Freeman.
But don't you think there would be a certain extent of egg on the face of the university to go a few games in and then reverse course? Like, I don't see that ever happening year one for that reason, other than like a disciplinary inappropriate situation. Like, it would Notre Dame.
I think they let him
say that.
They let him finish the year, but come on, John, honestly, how are you going to feel if they are literally 0-5 after Stanford? I mean, I'm going
to be furious, but I'm telling you, that guy's got a few years before anything's hot. I'm not saying that from my seat. I'm telling you, the way things are, they're going to give him a few years to get things going. No matter how bad this year gets, I think they are. I just think that's how they're going to operate. Whether we like it or you like it, or I think that, I just think that's what Notre Dame's going to do.
Well, then I just think that, and honestly, I'm not trying to say Marcus Freeman's a bad coach. What I'm concerned about is he wasn't ready for being a head coach. Yeah, it's tough taking over Notre Dame when you're young.
Well, now that's
I disagree with you. Go ahead.
That's an interesting point, because I think the dynamic was the one we liked with Freeman under Kelly, but I think our roadmap was more Kelly's there another couple years, then does something else, and then Freeman comes in and he has a few more years. That would have been more comfortable. There's no doubt that this got accelerated fast. It did. There's no doubt about that. That's definitely a part of this dynamic. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I just think I wouldn't worry so much about 2023 because I honestly think this could be a dumpster fire if he starts 0-5 or something crazy like that.
Somebody says.
And then I also think about John.
Somebody says George O'Leary. Somebody says George O'Leary has a better record than Marcus Freeman. It's so sad that it makes me laugh.
I'll just leave you on this point. How would you feel if they? I mean, look at what North Carolina is doing in terms of offense. I know they have no defense, but they're putting up like 50, 60 points a game. Lincoln Riley is putting up 40, 50, 60 points a game. It could get ugly. I'm just saying. If Marcus Freeman doesn't figure out, or Tommy Rees doesn't figure something out really, really quick, this it could be a one and done. I know you think that's unrealistic, but
I do. I really
could be.
People in the chat, a bunch of them agree with you, and a lot of people are saying if this really gets slanted 0-4, 0-5, something like that, you may not have a choice. It's just a gut feeling the way Notre Dame is. I think they would ride it out, chalk it up to first year, blah, blah, blah. But make no doubt about it, that is a horrific position for Notre Dame to be in. And it's one of the few things that could kill any elite recruiting momentum Notre Dame would have at that point. It's dead because you can't out-recruit Marcus can't outdress or outtalk those results. That's the issue.
Yeah, and I would kiss what's the running back in St. Louis that was here today for recruiting.
Love.
I wonder what that I wonder what that conversation's sounding like right now.
There's a reason we need you. You could always pull that one out. There's a reason we need you. This wouldn't have happened with you, baby.
I guess, but he would say, do you only call that one run pass option play and you don't like ever call a pitch play or a counter play or something like that?
Oh, man.
Jesus, they just run it like right up the middle every single time.
This is
like,
so tough.
I wouldn't be too excited if I was that guy.
All right. Yeah. So I really appreciate that me and you differed a little on a couple things to go back and forth on. That makes for a healthy ecosystem and a really good sports radio phone call, by the way. So I'll let you go with this final thought. Where do you go from here? If you're Marcus Freeman and you sit down tonight or tomorrow morning, you are such a mess. How do you start putting the pieces back together? What would you do tomorrow to get this thing back on the trails?
Man, it's really tough. I mean,
retire, quit.
Yeah. No, you got to. Honestly, the goal is not to go out and just beat Cal. They got to beat Cal by 30 points and restore the confidence. So I don't know. I think
that's what I was saying about Marshall, though.
I know. I think they got to go back to the drawing board. I mean, their offensive game plan stinks. Buckner needs to stop. First of all, eliminate that 10-yard outplay because he threw 2 interceptions on it, and then he really should have thrown another interception on it. So I don't know. I think you've got to. I think you got to figure out how to score 40 points next week, because otherwise the season's going to implode.
That could take us like 5 games combined added together, man.
I know. I mean,
God, this is like pulling
really
teeth.
Bad news. I would not. Do not start Drew Pine. Do not start Drew Pine. Drew Pine showed that he stinks. If you're gonna bench Buckner, go to Angeli then, because Pine literally looked like a little person out there. It's shocking how small he is. And but yeah, I think it's all on Reese. Has to come up with a game plan. You've got to put up 40 points to restore the confidence, or else if it's another close game or a loss, then the season's going to implode completely.
It's going to be rough. But this was the worst case scenario, and we're going to see what the response is. I'm going to be on campus next week. It's going to be interesting. That vibe, I got to judge the vibe next week. It's going to be weird. I got a feeling. I'm nervous. It's going to be a weird vibe, man.
The last thing is, don't blame Al Golden. I mean, the last few quarters, I mean, I'm not saying the defense played great or anything, but it's definitely the offense is the issue.
Yeah, the defense isn't on the top of my complaint list.
And the D-line.
Yeah.
And the D-line talked all this crap before the season, and they stink. I mean, the only guy who's any good on the D-line is Foskey. All the other guys are just no-names on there. So it's ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, I would just say you got to figure out a way. I don't care if I was Tommy Rees, I'd make the offense run till they threw up, and I'd be like, if we don't score 40 points, then I'm benching you guys. I'm going with like the 13. I honestly, you got to figure out how to score 40 points next week, or else the season's over.
Oh man, that seems like an insurmountable ask given the situation we're in this dynamic. But thank you for the call, man. Really good call. I like the debate and the difference. Call again anytime. You're welcome.
Thanks, Sean. Have a good one.
You too. Take care. Good call. Listen, times like these, folks, we're all not going to agree. That's the thing. When it gets this bad, everybody's not going to agree. There's going to be people wanting to do everything. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. Notre Dame can't bail on Marcus Freeman mid-year 1. Do you know what a bad look that is on the university? You just can't. Like, I just don't think that's realistic that could ever in reality actually happen, other than a disciplinary situation, something inappropriate, but not for like on field. I just don't. I don't think that's realistic. Reese, I don't know. Is that a different discussion? Does it get to a point where that's realistic enough that Marcus says, I love you, bro, but maybe you are better suited for a fresh start in the NFL? And then I have a clean slate here with no holdover from Kelly to build this offense out. Is that it? Maybe that's the angle. I don't know. but it's an issue. And the issue is people will say, man, this really gets to me. People will say, oh, it's only one game, man. It's just one game, John. It's just one game, John. But it isn't. When it all connects to recruiting, that's where it ends up not just being one game. That's the issue. Losing to Ohio State isn't really the way we did in a game that wasn't embarrassing, doesn't kill you in recruiting. It doesn't help you on the plus side because you lost, but it doesn't kill you in recruiting the way this game could. It's a bad look. There's no way around it. It's just a horrific look. Bad spot. It's just a bad spot. It is. And there's no, I love Marcus. I like the potential. There's no justifying this. I am Mr. the Freeman factor and the recruiting being the engine. And then we're going to go from there and all. I'm down with all of it. I wanted it to be. And I needed Marcus to get this job. Right guy. I'm not willing to give up with him after this. I'm not. I just can't. Tough start, no doubt, but I'm not willing to jump off the Freeman train now, but something needs to change because this ain't working. You're just not. Oh, man, this is brutal. $5 super chat there about Reese. I don't know what you do. Notre Dame needs to observe the areas they were strong in their 2 losses. Gregory Thomas Jr. In areas where they were weak in both losses, and they need to grow strong in those areas and turn weaknesses into strengths. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the goal of every football team, is to turn areas you're weak into strengths. How realistic is that? How long does it take? Those are the issues. Those are the questions. 817 Notre Dame fans are not in heaven. You're on the line.
Can you hear me, John?
I got you. What's going on tonight?
Oh, perfect, man. How's your night going so far besides for the loss?
Quite horribly.
Yeah, I agree too.
Honestly, I'm beside myself. I can't believe this. Of all the outcomes, I can't believe it. This is the one it couldn't be the worst case scenario. I'm at a loss.
I agree, man. So I want to start off with putting this game aside, right, and looking at the rest of the season.
Okay.
After the Marshall loss, realistically, your unbiased opinion, what do you think our record will be from now until USC?
Until USC? Oh, I mean, the way you're playing now, you could lose half those games and it wouldn't surprise me. The way you're playing right now with that offensive issue, you could lose half those games to, I don't care how good the teams are or not. That's the problem. I can't trust anything now. If you play that way, you could lose to anybody. So now I can't trust anything.
I 100% agree.
Like I just can't. I can't. You can't do this at home against Marshall and expect me to trust you next week. No, you can't. You lost anything. You lost it. You have no credibility now. You're starting from ground zero. And everybody's fair to question everything you're doing because that's what you bring on yourself when you do this at home against the Thundering Herd, who deserve the win, by the way. Credit to them. They beat our asses up and down all day. Credit to them. Don't you agree? They played great. Good job.
They played they stopped the run, right? They stopped the run, and we couldn't do anything against it. Jaden Thomas can't get off press release. Braden Lindsey runs himself out of bounds, and then the only somewhat competent receiver we have is Lorenzo Styles and Michael Mayer that can actually somewhat make plays on their own. And then Estime, non-existent. Kyrie's somewhat existent. And then Logan Diggs got 5 touches, I think, probably for 20 yards-ish. And last year, probably, I don't know how many he had last year. I get we had Kyron last year, but Logan Diggs had a lot of touches last year as a true freshman. And I want to say the offensive line was actually better last year than what we're saying here. Would you agree with that?
What was the question? I got distracted. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do 4 things.
I was just kind of rambling. Through. I mean, pretty much. Would you say that the offensive line was better last year than what it was this year?
Well,
based off,
I think
it's only
towards the end of the year, that offensive line got a lot better. But I expected them to be starting from a much further along point than we are now. Why did Harry come out of retirement for this? Stay retired
agree,
if you're
man.
going to give me this. Stay retired.
Yep.
Why is it's just all an issue. The play calling's an issue. Reese is an issue. Some of the talent's an issue. The young quarterback's an issue. The new head coach that hasn't been around enough to know is an issue. It's all an issue. The line's an issue. Everything's an issue except for Michael Mayer. And I even have one guy who wants him to slim up. So maybe he's an issue too. It's too much for 2 weeks.
I 100% agree. I got one more question. So I think the previous guy actually before me mentioned the 2016 team. Very similar situation, very, very poor play. But it's actually the opposite, right? 2016 it was, right, we started out at Texas offense, but I mean it was between Deshaun and Malik, right? But we had what was it, Will Fuller or Equinemius at the time, and maybe I think Torrey Hunter too. Right, but the offense was explosive, right? But the defense was the problem. But now with it's almost the opposite. We have no offense. It's non-existent. So I just kind of want to ask your opinion on that and kind of do you see these two teams, right, with so much talent and so much potential, but at this point, right, the defensive line is just, in my opinion, poorly coached. So what's your opinion on that?
I just think there's such differing situations because of the tenure of the head coach. And I think that has to go into calculating these dynamics. Now, if you want to tell me, like, they're just totally different situations, so I have a hard time looking at them identically. I'm always inclined to say the guy who's been there as many years as Kelly was has no excuse to let it get down to that level, where I'm generally a little more open to letting a new guy work for a while. But that being said, it just can't be this. There's too much talent for it to look like this. And 2016's team had too much talent to have that happen to them, which tells you there's a lot of other stuff going sideways on you. And you need to figure out what those other things are. Because this isn't a playoff game winning team, but they could be 10-win team. But you ain't on that track. So you need to figure out where you're going sideways here.
Yep.
So what would you do next week?
They played.
What would you do next week?
Alabama
How would you
played.
get this shit straightened out? Where would you start?
So I think it starts with Tommy, right? He came in 13, 12 as a freshman, right? This is the guy that's, and I don't want to make it a Brian Kelly thing, right? But if I'm gonna go on to anything, I'm gonna go on to him, right? He's the one who's been at Notre Dame the longest. He understands the program. He understands the players that they have and the potential and the talent that we have, right? So as the offensive coordinator, right, I know this is only, I think, his third year. It goes on Tommy, right? If I'm Marcus, right, I have a coaches only meeting tomorrow. I go into that meeting. I tell Tommy, right, one-on-one, hey, we're playing Cal, right? Cal is not they're not some top team, right? We should easily, if Tyler's playing and healthy, right, we should easily be able to score 30 plus on them with no problem, right? And then I don't know if we play North Carolina after that, but same thing with North Carolina. I get App State is a good team, right? They just beat A&M, right? But they scored 63 on them. There should be, and North Carolina scored 61 on App State, right? Notre Dame should be able to score 30 plus on North Carolina. And if Tommy can't do that, then you have to make changes.
I mean, the odds are stacked against it based on how things are looking. And if you have a quarter,
and that's why you have to,
man. But here's the other thing.
Tommy.
Let me ask this though. Here's the other dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know the issue with Buckner's injury. Let's say that he has to miss some time. Does that then give them the built-in excuse of, well, now the offense looks bad and we're not even dealing with our starting quarterback? Give me a break. Like, I could see then that people wanting to use that as a reason that it looks rough. Like, it always turns into the next thing with us. It's always something.
Yeah, it's always always excuses, right? There's always
the next one.
Drew Pine, I think all Notre Dame fans can pretty much have the same opinion on Drew Pine through 10 plays a day. he looked like a group of 5 starter, and it's not even a question. He couldn't even with the options that he has, right? He has Michael Mayer, he has Lorenzo Styles, he has I don't think we saw Tobias Mayweather today, which kind of makes me disappointed, right? But you have Jaden Thomas, you have Braden Lindsey. It should not be a problem trying to throw passes against Marshall, right? The interception, he looked at Michael Mayer the entire way, and he threw it. He didn't see the linebacker right there, and he threw it straight to him. I don't want to call this season a lost season just because it's only 2 games into the season, but if Buckner is not good to go for Cal next week, I mean, obviously they think Drew Pine is better than Angeli, but I honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, because there is no idea because there's no roadmap for this kind of disaster. So you're correct in saying you have no idea. There's no roadmap for it going this sideways on you. There isn't.
Yeah, it's kind of find your own way.
Right. This is it. Right.
Awesome. That works.
This is a worst case scenario. It is.
Well, honestly, I don't think this is the worst case scenario. I think, we could lose a lot of recruits. Right. Keon Keeley already decommitted around 2 months ago, I think, or a month and a half ago, about to the day. Jeremiah Love, right, our top 4-star for 2023, extremely high touted running back from St. Louis. Right. His other, you think he was very impressed by how many rushing yards do you think we had today, John? 110, 105? If that?
Did we get to 3 spins? We had to get to 3 spins today, right? Especially with the quarterback running it more. Had to get to 3 today. My God.
Right. It was really dynamic running game.
Did it sound loud to you? The Marshall people sounded loud to me. I was not at the game. If anybody, it sounded loud in there, and it wasn't our people because it was loud the other way. Did you hear that too? Was anybody there? Put it in the chat. It sounded loud to Marshall's side today.
I was watching it on NBC with Jason Garrett and what's his name and what's his name calling it. But yeah, it's really disappointing to see. Right, it was awesome that the game got sold out, right? But there are a lot of Marshall fans, and then it was really disappointing to see the offensive line and the running back play. Right, we have 3 very good running backs, right? Estime, Diggs, and Tyree are very good. No one can deny that. Very talented players. It's just disappointing to see, right, the offensive line not do anything, and to have recruits in the building where you potentially, in my opinion, you lost those guys. I mean, even guys that are committed. I think Drake Bowen was there. I think Christian Gray from St. Louis was also there.
Yep.
Who probably knows Jeremiah pretty well. So
not ideal, man. Not ideal. This is
DJ Carr would be in the worst case scenario. I could very easily see him decommitting and going to Michigan or
the other thing is, though, are we overdoing this? I'm open to that. It feels like the end of the world to somebody like me. Are we overplaying this, or is it actually as catastrophic as it feels? Because it feels pretty damn catastrophic.
This is pretty catastrophic, right?
I think so too. I think so too. You can't talk your way out of this one, Marcus. It's bad. It's a bad look.
No, yeah. Even when Alabama plays their worst, right? Alabama played like dog doo-doo today versus Texas, right? Probably 120 yards worth of penalties. Guess what? They still beat Tech. We would agree Texas is probably better than Marshall, right? They played awful today versus Texas. I think Bryce Young threw for 180 yards. Guess what? They still found a way to win on the road in a hostile environment, having 130 yards of penalties. Good teams find ways to win, right? And that was, I'll give Brian Kelly his 2 cents here, right? Brian Kelly found good ways to win against, right, worse teams, right? Not as talented, right? It was just him versus the elite teams.
Yeah, I'll give him credit for that. Really, towards the end of his tenure, he did a really good job of that. It was the high-end stuff that we all wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beating unranked opponents, right? That's what you should do. That's what good teams should do. It's just disappointing to see such a talented team, right? Lorenzo Styles probably going to be in the NFL. Chris Tyree, probably an undrafted free agent. I could go on and on. Foskey, right? Brandon Joseph, Cam Hart, Jaden Mickey. We could go on, right? There's a lot of talented players on this team. It's just a shame, just really unfortunate to see such talented team start this way, right? Especially against Marshall, and especially the way we started against Ohio State, right? Really, we thought the defense was going to be elite, right? And we were like, okay, maybe the offense just, all we have to do is just, right, better play calling, right? We did really good scheming against Marshall. The O-line just didn't hold up. We gave opportunities, right? And we thought that they would come out against Marshall and make the big play opportunities, right? We had the big play opportunities, right? The last play before half. Huge opportunity to turn the entire game around. It's just, right, we didn't make the plays. Marshall did, right? And that's what it boiled down to. And it's unfortunate, but Marshall is a better team than Notre Dame. I'll say it right now. If
They earned it
10 times.
They deserved it. And
I would take Marshall 6 out of the 10.
Hey man, this was not one of those deals where you're like, oh, they kind of got lucky on the road and things broke their way. That ain't this. No. They bullied their way in Notre Dame Stadium and they earned that ball game. They smacked Notre Dame in the face and they earned it. They played harder, they played better, and they wanted it. Total credit to those guys. Total credit. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a pick 6 and so
good job on them.
It's unfortunate, but I hope, right, they can come out against Cal next week. And Marcus's thing was start fast.
Yeah, well, we're about.
I mean, Tommy Rees has got, in my opinion, right. If I was the head coach, I'd go and tell Tommy, hey, Tommy, if you don't score 30+ points in the next 3 games, we got to make a change, right? At some point, you have to make a change. And I know it sucks, but like, if we don't, hypothetically, if we don't win against Cal next week, Marcus Freeman in his mind, and I think all Notre Dame fans in their minds have to say, this is a trial year. You play everyone on that roster, and you say who wants to play and who really wants to win, right? Because I think there's a lot of guys out there who just don't put in effort, right? Who just, right, the D line, we were talking about it all this year. Oh man, we're the baddest mofos in the country, right? Riley Mills said this past week, we're the most elite D line. Guess what? Sure, you had, I think, 3 or 4 sacks, but other than that, Bosky, Adimola twins, Riley Mills, nowhere to be seen, right? It's really big downgrade from Elston, from him. So it is what it is, but I hope we win next week. And right at this point, I think hopefully we can get 8 wins, 6 wins at this point. But
well, we'll see.
My 2 cents.
Oh, thanks for the call. Sorry you had to make it, but thanks for the call.
Yeah, have a good one, John.
You too. Take care. Oh man. Here's my question. Here's kind of where I'm getting at. Absolute Melvin, Comedy and More, $10 super chat. Appreciate that. I don't know if that's going to cover my first. Those beeps you guys are hearing are people calling me to mock me because Notre Dame lost. For me to do the call-in line, I have to connect my phone line, and then it back end connects to that number, picks it up through the computer system. So what you're hearing beeping are the people calling me trying to rub it in that we lost. So that's going to be my evening, in case you guys were wondering. I just don't. The trouble with this is I'm trying to find where to start to put this back together, and I'm not having good answers there. That's seriously where I'm really having trouble. I don't know where to start finding a foundation with which to build this up from. You are really starting at ground zero, and it's not great. Like, it just couldn't look like this and be like this. Starting 199, bring in Everett Golson to take over for Reese. I see where you're going with that, and that's actually pretty clever. I'm just telling you, Freeman ain't going anywhere. I don't care if they start 0-5. I do not see it happening. I just don't. I just don't think that's realistic. I don't. Barring a behavioral issue, not an on-the-field result issue, I do not think that's realistic as an outcome. I just don't. I don't see that happening. Now, the Reese angle, that might be different. That might be a little different. Let's say things go bad and it stays bad and we have 1 win halfway through the year, something really ugly, something like that. Let's say that happened. and you're Freeman and it's year one and you need to prove a point that there are consequences when the standards of play at this university are not reached. What a way to show your guys that there are consequences for failure at Notre Dame than for him to say, we know we all love Tommy and I love Tommy. He's my boy, but he ain't going to be my OC because we didn't get the results. And if that makes the players realize that they weren't preparing hard enough or executing or whatever, and they feel bad that they got Tommy fired, I don't know, you guys. I don't know if that's the right move, the wrong move, or if it would help or it would hurt. I don't know because I didn't plan for this scenario. I didn't plan to be in the worst case scenario after 2 weeks of this. But since I love Notre Dame, I should have figured it'd be this way. And then right when I get done yelling, somebody puts, I don't even see Notre Dame winning a game all year. I'm telling you what, man, Notre Dame. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable the life Notre Dame fans live. It's not normal. We don't live a normal existence. None of it's normal. None of it. I can't believe it. 540, you're my hero. What's on your mind this evening?
John, it's not as complicated as you're making it. It's really not.
Break it down for me. I need help tonight. Break it down for me, please.
Okay.
Make it make sense, please.
First of all, your worst case scenario, my worst case scenario is even worse than yours because this is my freaking birthday. So what is to happen on my freaking birthday? Prior to this game, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I couldn't hear you for a while. Prior to this game, we were a handful away from Marcus Freeman starting his head coaching career at Notre Dame with 2 straight wins against top 10 teams. We were a handful of plays away from that happening.
Fair.
Now we've gone all the way to where we are now. And the answer is very, very simple. Brian Kelly made one move during his career that saved his career at Notre Dame. And that's he had sense enough to get rid of Brian Van Gorder because he was hemorrhaging the football. The team was bleeding. Okay. We're in that scenario now, but it's on offense. Tommy Rees's complete inability to stretch the field vertically is killing this team, and it's causing all kinds of other problems. It's like our entire passing game is horizontal. It's 10 yards. It's like we're playing red zone offense all the way down the field. And teams know they can stack the box so that we can't run the ball. They can lock down on the wide receivers outside. That's why you get so many picks. That's why the wide receivers can't break coverage. Tommy Rees's inability to schematically stretch the field vertically is the problem. We fix that problem, and all the other problems will take care of themselves. So to me, Tommy Rees has got to go, just like Van Gorder. It's that simple.
So is that a move you think could take place in season? And if so, do you have any concern about that fracturing the locker room that no doubt loves and respects Thomas Rees? I'm asking that not sarcastically, dead serious. I could see that move being a ballsy one by the new coach, but I think it's a little bit risky. Would you have that concern, or do you think that's just what the doctor ordered to get everybody to know how serious this is if you don't do your job?
No, I think the second option, because again, going back to Van Gorder, when the team was giving up 40 points a game, we realized we had a problem and we had to fix it. And now we get, now we've got how many straight quarters have we had where the offense has been just disappeared. In the second half of the Oklahoma State game our offense has been virtually invisible. And I think putting the blame on Tyler Buchner is wrong because it's the same thing as so many quarterbacks that we've had. You got to put your quarterback in a position where he has the opportunity to be successful. And Tyler Buchner has the arm to stretch the field vertically. He's not being given the opportunity. Against Ohio State, Do you know that Lorenzo Styles had 2 targets against Ohio State? And Braden Lindsey had 2 targets the whole game. I mean, that's pathetic to me. So that's it. To me, that's what we need to solve this problem.
I appreciate that. I think that's an aggressive way to do it. And I think it would have to be very calculated, and it would be a ballsy move by the new coach only because of the unique dynamic and the relationship everybody in that building has with Reese and his history at Notre Dame. I'm open to it, but Freeman needs to be careful. Freeman needs to be careful with that. I'm not saying not to do it, but he has to be sure he ain't going to cause a revolt.
All right, let me just say one more thing, and then I'll go. I want to say one more thing in response to that, okay? Losing to Oklahoma State, excusable. Losing to Ohio State, excusable. Losing to Marshall, inexcusable. This is an emergency situation. He needs to make the change now.
Hey, I'll listen, man. Really good call, and I can't disagree with you. This one, you can't rationalize it. This is out of bounds, can't happen. And there have to be consequences. What they are, I don't know. But good call. I can't argue with you. It's fair to talk about. Good call, my friend.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Man, it hurts me to have these phone calls already. It does. Like, it pains me. It really does. I see people saying Reese is gone regardless. I'm assuming that means they think he's going to go to the NFL eventually. Is that what you mean by that? Maybe. Maybe that's an angle you can make this work if everybody in the NFL still thinks he's a genius at the end of this year. Like every time I say, why can't Notre Dame's offense look good? It's shut up, dummy. Reese is a genius. And then I turn on the Notre Dame game and then we score nothing. And then I ask, why can't we score? Settle down, dummy. Reese is a genius. I don't understand. Where do I see this genius take place if it's not on the actual football field? When? I don't understand. And I just need to see it. 260, be my hero. You're on the air.
Hello there, John. This is Pat from Charlotte. How we doing?
I've had better post-game shows. How are you doing?
Is this your first post-game show?
I did a couple years ago, but none quite as jarring as this one. This is quite catastrophic. It's a big one. This was bad.
Yeah. I try to call in during the week, but man, you're getting popular. It's hard to get in quickly, which is a good thing for you. But what I wanted to say before the game started, my biggest fear is that Notre Dame was going to approach this game like Brandon Wimbush versus Ball State. The last thing I wanted Notre Dame to do is go against what Tyler Buchner's strength is, which is running. Now, I understand you don't want him injured. I understand that. Okay. But the fact that you're not even utilizing this kid with his legs, which is literally the reason he is starting quarterback at Notre Dame, is because of his legs. What are you doing? And so we're gonna put a 50% passer, and we're gonna drop him back, or I guess just catch the ball and just throw to the first read constantly, because that's basically all he did. And that's the level of skill that this kid has currently, because once again, he has two starts. Like, why in the hell are you going to play this offensive scheme away from this individual's talent? It makes no sense. So what did Marshall do? Exactly the same thing that Ohio State did. Once they realized that this kid is not going to beat them throwing the ball, it's going to be with his legs, put 8 people in the box and dare him to throw the ball, because guess what? We're Wisconsin. We are literally Wisconsin. We have 3 tight ends out there, and we're trying to like what do you think we're going to do? We're going to run the ball up the middle. You know, I mean, it's just okay. I got to stop, because enough with Tyler Buchner. The biggest issue, other than the offense is sucking, is where in the hell is this defensive line? Where the hell is this defensive line? I was told that this is the backbone. Where are they? They're nowhere to be. Marshall is kicking their ass. Second string guard for Marshall is blowing people off the ball. Foskey, hey, baby, I saw you a couple times, but, you know, 3rd down and 8, probably going to throw the ball. Pass rush, nowhere to be seen. We got a blitz with Ramon Henderson, who comes flying in, can't tackle anybody, but we're gonna send him on a blitz. Anyways, defense line, where are you? Come on now. You were supposed to be the backbone of the team. Sorry, I'm ranting. Please, your thoughts.
It's just rough, man. You're hitting it all. It's all rough, and it all needs to be worked on. I will say this though. A lot of people are ragging the defense in this show, and they didn't play beautifully either, but they're way down on my list of complaints compared to anything that has to do with the offensive side of the ball at all. They're way behind. At least the defense is like somewhat in the realm of reality here, but the offense is unearthly how unrealistically bad it is.
I'm going to push back a little bit because I'm sorry, you do not give up 11-play, 94-yard drive against Marshall. I'm sorry, you do not give up 11-play, 94-yard drive against Marshall. If you have the defense lineup returning, we were talking just 6-yard run, 7-yard run. I have to listen to some Uber driver that is running 150 yards against his defense. Where is his defense line? But no, I agree. The offense, let me put it this way. Now I understand why Brian Kelly got the hell out of here, right? You talk about the cover is there. Right? You have a brand new quarterback. Well, it's not brand new, but you know what I mean. Like he's first-time starter, okay? You have this type of situation with a line that you have 2 sophomores as tackles. You got some 6-year senior that still can't figure it out. You got pretty much a brand new starter at Corral, at center, and you got your captain now has moved to a new position. And you are taking away the one tool that your quarterback has, which is his leg. And you're going, okay, we're going to line up with 8 guys in the box, and we're going to pound, which they should. This is Marshall. They should be able to run that ball. But if you're not going to give the threat of a quarterback running, what are you doing? You're just hamstringing yourself. And so, okay, we're going to have this kid drop back and throw the ball, and look, one read. That's all he was looking at the entire game was one read. If you saw this one play, pass play, he had plenty of time. All the receivers were streaking, kind of doing like deep routes, and he fired the ball very, very quickly to Mayer. Okay. If you look at his eyes, Buckner's eyes, it's going a million miles per minute. And I understand because he's brand spanking new at this, but there's no preparation with this kid, or like something's off. I'm sorry, there's just something off with him, but at the same time, he's 2 starts, so that's what I keep coming back to. Big picture wise, man, they better win. I'll put it that way.
That's what I said going into this game.
Well, I agree. Yeah, but
you can't just keep pushing it down the road here, because if you don't get the one against Cal, how's North Carolina and BYU going to look to you? You got to get this one. You just got to. This is a joke. Do you know how offended I am that I even have to talk about this? This is a joke. I can't believe this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I can't believe we're at this point, but hey, we're here, and there's no way that I can't, unless Notre Dame wins 1, maybe 2 games, I can't foresee Freeman getting canned. I can't believe that.
Me neither. I just don't see it. I don't see it. That's not Notre. It's just a bad look all around. They're not going to do that. People are mad, and I get it. They're not going to do that. Reese, that's in the ballpark. And it doesn't, even if you waited till the end of the year, you could encourage Reese to look for NFL opportunities and kind of do it that way. And then he doesn't lose any Notre Dame shine, and then everybody goes their own way. You could even play it nice and do that, Marcus, if you need to do it at the end of the year. And then you get your breakup, nobody looks bad, and we all move on. But this is unacceptable. And the offense is holding back the whole program. And I know we have complaints
Agreed.
about the defense, but some of it, you can't tell me some of this defensive issues aren't caused by an offense that isn't even from this galaxy. Yeah. Never has the ball, never keeps it, never blows half a quarter on a drive, nothing. And then that makes the defense have to play tight and perfect. Because if they give up a field goal, they're going to lose the damn game. And it's making me lose my hair.
100%. I agree. I'm not going to. You're right in that sense. And with the offense, here's the question that I'm trying to work out in my mind. In all seriousness, okay, is it the extreme lack of talent at wide receiver? Because today, finally, I hope that Irish Nation realizes that Braden Lindsey is not a wide receiver. Okay, he's just not. He's a fast guy that you pray that he can catch the ball. You know, that's pretty much what he is. So is it the wide receiver or the lack of talent wide receiver? Is it the offensive line? Is it Buckner? I'm sure it's all of it combined. But
that's the issue. It's all of it. It's all of it. That's the issue. It's everything. And how in the hell can I fix a problem when I can't identify where it starts or ends because every single part involved with it isn't doing a good enough job? That is the worst part of this whole dynamic. Right. I don't know where to start because everything is bad. Everything is not good enough. And where do you freaking start then?
Okay, so this is what you do. So if I was a coach, I'd just start playing it like scientifically. Okay, I'm going to have to enter a variable that I haven't used before at different types of positions and see if that changes it. So I'll keep Buckner, I'll keep the line, but let's rotate different wide receivers. Okay, Salerno, God bless you. I'm happy that you made that one catch. Great story. Try some freshmen. I hear Merriweather, where is he? I don't even care at this point. Switch it up in that sense, okay? Or maybe it's O-line. Maybe Lug, hey, man, you've done 6 years, and God bless you, we're going to rotate you in, but go with some younger guards, you know, where you're trying to build for maybe the future. Buckner might be injured, so maybe this is the variable that is going to happen to play. I've been saying for 2 years now, or roughly 2 years, fine is not the answer, obviously. So is it Angeli? I don't know. I like this. You gotta switch it up to determine where the issue is. You know what I mean? You can't just keep running out the same type of product and going, oh, I wonder where the issue is.
Well, the issue's going to be the issue's going to be the real issue is if Buckner's hurt, then that really screws you up because that makes all of that process even harder to figure out what you're doing and what you can do. I cannot imagine the playbook Notre Dame's had the first 2 weeks being any smaller than it has been. But if it's going to be Pine, then it's going to be. It's going to have to be. This is just bad, man. Can we get a redo on this year?
I wish, but I don't know. We'll see what is what. I honestly, Buckner, I really do hope that he's okay because at this point, what do you have to lose? The season's done. I hope we make it to the Cheez-It Bowl. You know,
I'm going for I want the Camping World Bowl. You know, that's always it gets me excited, man. The Camping World Bowl and Marcus Lemonis and all of his money. It just excites me. There's nothing more prestigious than the Camping World Bowl.
I love Jesus as a kid, so man, and especially I can't remember who the teams were, but I remember Jason Benetti was calling the game. That Cheez-It Bowl maybe a couple of years ago was like there's 11 turnovers or something ridiculous. It was just terrible. But I'm hoping that Notre Dame gets to the Cheez-It Bowl. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm playing for this year because you got to figure it out. The offense is terrible. It's a reason probably. I'm sure there is something with Tommy that is causing this offense not to perform. Okay. I'm not denying that there's an issue there. And I'm sure that what you just described with like, hey, Marcus probably goes to him at the end of the year, you know, the NFL job has been calling you, let's check out those interviews and try to switch it up. But at the same time, another concern that I have is there's a lot of coaches here that is with them. Al Washington comes to mind. There's a reason why this individual is fired from Ohio State. Am I right? he was in charge of the linebacking corps, if I'm not mistaken. And Ohio State's linebacking corps was terrible last year. Terrible last year. This defensive line, don't know what happened. I'm not gonna lie. I'm also trying to think back. When was the last time I seen a unit that was so good the prior year, with pretty much all the returning starters come back and be this like average, just average?
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
rough, man.
I
I don't know. It's rough. Man, you don't have really much to lean on right now. And that's unfortunate. I mean, it is. Offensively, you're starting from ground zero. You need to try and do basics and see if you could move the ball. I just can't believe, for the life of me, I can't believe this is where we're at. Like, I'm appalled. I just can't believe this is where we're at. It can't be. This can't be your reality right now. Something's horribly wrong.
Something's wrong, and I know you've been asking people, what would you do?
What's your
next
move?
week? You know what your move is? Next week is going to be hell. Having gone through this, next week is going to be hell. They are going to be hitting. They're going to be hitting, and they're going to be hitting some more. And if people are injured for the game, at this point, you don't really care, because where's the intestinal fortitude with this team? And with Freeman, it sounds like he's kind of that throwback coach. They are going to be hitting, and they better be hitting, and it's going to be a hell of a week for them. And so I would hope, coming in to the game against Cal, that they are going to be ready to hit. And I hope that translates to some sort of push. If they have any sort of pride, they are going to show up next week and have some push. Okay? The biggest fear I had going into this game was the letdown factor. When I heard that this game was not sold out for like middle of the week, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
And the worst is it's a
letdown.
A letdown's one thing after a win, but a letdown after a loss is a whole different animal. That's a double letdown.
But yes, but the problem is you're preparing for this game, not for just say over the summer and fall camp. You're preparing for Ohio State since you put them on the schedule, essentially. Like, you're telling recruits this, okay? So you knew there was going to be a letdown going into this game. The problem was, okay, will Notre Dame actually run the offense that they should be running, which is Buckner literally running the ball? Or are they going to just try to, I don't even know what, do they really think they're going to be able to just line up and pound the ball? Again, they should. But we saw last week that was not the case. So it's like, okay, you have to do some trickery. You got to misdirection, something to get this defense, who is just lining up 8 people in the box and daring you to throw the ball. You have to do something. And when they did, and what's funny is when they actually did, they reversed, Styles ripped off a nice gain, I think, on that type of play. I don't know what. Let me sidebar. Oh, by the way, that NBC broadcast, holy hell, that was terrible.
I thought so too, but listen, I'm open to the idea that it's just the game was going bad, so I was predisposed to be in a horrible mood. Jason Garrett does not have the voice for the job he has at NBC. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. The words aren't the issue. It's the inflection, and his voice does not match the role he's supposed to be doing. I don't know if that's fair. I don't know. There's something that doesn't gel for me with it. And I almost forgot Collinsworth was there half the time. So maybe my judgment's messed up, though, because I was out of my mind all afternoon. All right, final thoughts for you, my friend. I got you off track. Final thoughts, and I want to go through a bunch of people after you. What do you got?
All right, John. Final thoughts is, man, Freeman, brand new coach, 0 experience. You got quarterback, 2 games started now. You got a young offensive line that's hodgepodge together. You got a young coaching staff. I've been told that there's going to be bumps and bruises, that there's going to be bumps along the way. They weren't lying.
Yep.
But if somehow he can continue, his narrative doesn't change. I need players. I'm turning this around. Notre Dame is going to be up at the upper echelon. Okay. And if he continues to do that, and if he can somehow figure it out this week and get a W, he could drive that narrative. Who knows? The season could be all right. With that being said, that offense makes me worry about 2016.
Yep, it's rough. Thank you for the call, my friend. Good thoughts. Have a good weekend. Don't let this get you down too much.
Without a doubt, man. Thanks, Sean.
Take care. Can you guys hear one of my dogs barking upstairs, or is that just me? It's bugging me. I don't know if you could hear it or not, but I'm not in the mood for a barking beagle right now either. Can you guys hear that? Add it onto my list of problems today. Howl away up there. It's not like I'm live or anything. Son of a bitch. Having myself a night. All right, here's the deal. We got a bunch of callers lined up. I have family things I actually need to do. I wasn't planning on doing a post-game show because I thought Notre Dame could be normal for a few hours. But plans change. So I got a lot of calls. I want people to be able to be heard. So I'm going to bang through these calls, but it can't be 10 minutes a person. I want to let everybody have a little bit here, as much as I can, till I got to go. So I'm going to run these up, and I'm not trying to play favorites. I want everybody to have a say. I can't go 10 or 15 minutes. So sum up your main points. I'm going to bang through a few of these before I have to go. 443, you're hollering at me.
Hey, John, you there?
I'm there.
You there?
I'm there.
Hey, brother.
I don't know if I want to be there, but I'm there.
Well, yeah, I'm the same way. I tell you what, it was just abysmal today from start to finish. It was not moving your feet on the offensive line. It doesn't help 12 personnel when the tight ends don't block anyone. But then again, how are you going to run the ball when the box is loaded with 8, 9 people pinching inside? You got to complete a pass. That's the bottom line. It's been that way since the college football playoff when we can't hit a drag with Ian Book. That's wide open. It's just to the point of, if you can't complete a pass, you're not going to be able to run the ball. We've been able to run the ball before, but the box is loaded. And if you watch even Ohio State last week, the ball was snapped and the safeties took 2 to 3 steps forward into the box. So if you can't complete a pass, you're not going to be able to run the ball. And it's just like,
well, it's like it's a chicken and the egg issue. When you can't run the ball, it's harder to pass it. And if you can't pass it, it's going to be hard to run it. So where does it leave you when you're not particularly great at doing any of those things? That's the issue I find myself in this fine evening.
That's 100% the issue with it. And, you know, everyone's talking about Harry Heath, I respect that. But if you look back at the film last year, the linemen hit people, stopped their feet, tried to tussle with them. We didn't get much movement. Yeah, we won games, but Wisconsin, we didn't win because the offensive line was great. We had several interceptions at the end that took us over the line and made it look worse than it really was. But he's not going to fix that in 6 months. My problem is, if you can't complete a pass, and this goes back even to Ian Book, Brandon Wimbush, down the line of all the quarterbacks we have, we can't get people out of the box if we can't complete a pass. And, you know, there's plenty of times people are open. Hey, we had a gift from Marshall where they blew the coverage at the end of the quarter, and we overthrew Lindsey.
Yeah,
a gift, you know, a gift. And if you can't complete a pass, you can't run the ball. And you can say Audric Estime, Chris Tyree, Loadon Diggs. It's a loaded box. Look at last year. Kyron Williams was so good. He got hit in the back in field in North Carolina, bounced it around, and ran the outside. That wasn't because our offensive line was playing well. I thought we were going to see improvement. It's going the opposite direction right now. But
so now what do you do to stabilize? That's the issue. What do you do to stabilize? Now you have instability at the quarterback position, more than the instability you already had, even if Tyler was healthy. But that's my next problem is, how do you go about stabilizing this if you were in charge? What do you do?
Well, from this point on, I'm tired of everyone saying we have a young offensive line. We have Zeke Carroll, who's a senior. You have Luggs that has played at tackle, guard, and Patterson, okay? And they're not that young, okay? On the edges, yes, we're young, understandable. But don't tell me they're a young offensive line either. Don't tell me they're a young offensive line when you got a 6th-year senior, a 5th-year senior, and a senior in Zeke Correll that's been around for a while. Correll couldn't play guard last year.
It don't look like we can get moving from center from him. I'm saying if it's close, skill position-wise, and you're talking about even the defense with the linebackers, tons of missed tackles, ton of wrong shouldering it, letting the outside. There's no one outside of you. You got to force it back in. And you know what? It's just like missed tackles galore. If it's close between a Tui and a Bo Bauer, I love Bo Bauer, but if it's close between our young freshman big stud from California, I play the young stud from California because I'm going to get him ready for next year. And then, start bringing in some of the young players that are really talented. We hear about how athletic and talented they are. You got to start throwing them in. And you know what? If you're going to run a go route, I would love to have a 6'4" guy from Merriweather to run down the field and try to do it. You're telling me you can't design a way to get a kid a ball. And I look around team after team after team.
Yep.
And even Ohio State today, the other team threw the ball. We look like we're in the 1940s, and we can't throw the ball even on a slant, a twist, nothing.
I know.
Okay?
It's really
the
upsetting.
problem before.
Yeah, you see teams with way less talent whipping it all over every Saturday. It's very upsetting. It is.
And you know what? If you can say this to me, and everyone brings up Cali, I agree with you on one thing. Marcus Freeman, young coach. I said this when we fired Kelly to my friends. I didn't call your show. I listened to your show. First time I ever called. But I'm going to tell you, I said this when we fired Kelly. You're either going to take the chance of trying to get the talent to go for a national championship, or it's going to regress. It looks like we have regressed at this point. But don't tell me how great of a quarterback coach Kelly was and how great we were there, because the reason why we couldn't beat the big teams is because we couldn't throw the freaking ball. We're still not able to throw the ball. If you can't complete a drag, and you can go back and watch the film of Ian Book on the Clemson game, we had a good run, and wide open guy misses a drag. Guys wide open in the middle, we miss them. Just by luck standards, I think we should have caught one of these by now. But it's like we're missing wide open people all the time. If you can't throw the ball in the modern game, there's something wrong. And they're always overthrowing. Our quarterbacks are always overthrowing every pass.
Man, it's so frustrating. I know you're dead serious, and you get so mad you almost have to laugh at it. Like, you come full circle. I mean, I don't know, man, but I appreciate the call. I'm going to let some other people hop on. Please call again, though. Very good call. Thank you, man. Have a good evening.
Yep.
Oh, man, man, this is just tough. This is a rough night, you guys. 304, you're here for more.
I'm in.
304, you're up.
Yeah.
How are you doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. What do you make of what we saw on our NBC station this evening?
Yeah. How are you?
Good. What do you make of all this? What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I just want to tell you, you guys want to talk about Marcus Freeman? You guys want to talk about Marcus Freeman?
Yep.
You want to talk about Marcus Freeman? You hired him and stuff. He steps in, but before him, we had Kelly and all these other coaches, right? And we're having pretty good, solid 10-win seasons or more, and all that. And all of a sudden, Marcus, and you hire him, he steps in, and he's all the way all these 10-win seasons and stuff with Kelly and stuff. The Marcus Freeman steps in, and all of a sudden, now you go from where we were at the top, almost the upper echelon, to drop to where we're at now. Now, explain that to me. Is that coaching, or is that the players?
I think that's the tough equation of this entire dynamic, is figuring out where that overlap begins or ends. Like, there is no doubt a part of this is the way the roster's built. Like, the wide receiver situation's a big part of the reason the offense is struggling. There's no doubt. But also, It is fair of you to ask, how much of this is coaching stuff that, like, maybe Marcus doesn't know he should be doing more of, or less involved in, or more involved in? There's got to be blame somewhere, though. Like, this isn't Ohio State where you could chalk it up to the other guys were like awesome talent. You don't do this at Marshall unless you have very big structural problems. I'm having a hard time identifying exactly where they all are and how to fix them.
Well, another thing is don't you think that when Kelly left, most of the staff left after the bowl game, don't you think a university like Notre Dame would have sat down and said, okay, listen, we like Marcus Freeman. He's a good person, a good guy, respected guy, But let's take our time here. Kelly had us pretty close. Let's take our time and maybe go after a primetime elite coach and staff and just see if this guy can get in the next gear, the next step we need to take to get where we need to be. Don't you think the university should have done something like that instead of just jumping right on, now we got to hire Marcus Freeman?
Let me say this. I'm certain they probably did. And we just don't know about it. And they make the back channel communications to the few guys that are in mind. And then they're happy where they are, making a ton of money, easier to win, all those things. And then you go back to Marcus, and then you go up there and you go, this is the guy we wanted the whole time. The players love him, and then everybody wins. That's how that went. That better be how that went, or Notre Dame's not doing their due diligence if they didn't reach out to the top guys to at least see if there's anything. I'm sure that happened.
Well, because we've been down this road how many times hiring these coordinators, right? A couple times with Willingham and Weiss. Bob Davey never worked out. Not Willingham so much, but Weiss and Davey never worked out. 0 for 2 there. Don't you think maybe you just should have just taken a little bit more time on this? Play the bowl game, coach it out, and just see. You see what I'm saying? Because you can blatantly see in these games already, we're just being out coached and out schemed. We just are. You can see it. We're being out coached and out schemed.
Yeah, and I've been a
Notre Dame fan since I was 10 years old. It's just obvious.
But here's the thing, man.
There's no direction on offense. There's no scheming. There's no identity where try to get the ball to your playmakers or not. Or if something starts working, like you run the ball a couple times for 10, 15-yard clip, then all of a sudden you want to throw the ball over the field again. So just keep hammering until they stop it enough. Keep hammering. We just get something started. It seems like a little bit of momentum, and he wants to change. He wants to throw the ball. And Buckner, if you can see plain as day, our quarterbacks, they're not big enough to see over the line. We're hitting our offensive linemen in a helmet with the ball. So we can't get the ball over their heads. We can't see. So, it's a lot of things to me. But I'm just saying, I really think they would have took more time on this and just looked at a more experienced coach. Because we like I said, I know how people felt about Kelly, but we were winning a lot with Kelly. He had us close. He had us right there. I just think, man, it's like I just took over elite experience like that. You can imagine just took us right where we needed to be after that. And I just think because of this, I'm not saying Freeman won't get it done. Maybe eventually, I don't know. Yeah. I just think we just taken 50 steps backwards. We just have, because we're just being out coached so much. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
It's not much game preparation for the other team to get ready for Notre Dame. You can tell. There's not a lot of preparation for it.
Yep.
There's
and
not.
It's very fair points. And I appreciate the call, 304. Thanks a lot. Very, very good call. You have a good evening. Don't let this ruin your weekend. Have fun with your family if you like them.
Hey, are you still going to the Cal game next week?
Yeah, I'm still going to be there. Hey, I still got people to meet and things to do. So I'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're planning on going to that game too, so that's why I didn't know.
Beautiful. I got your number.
Maybe I'll run into you. Who knows?
Yeah, I got your number. I'll shoot you a text. I'll be at a couple places where it'll be easy to find. I'll reach out.
All righty then. Appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right.
Take care.
Yep.
Did anybody else see Tommy Rees pulling his hair out during the game? NBC showed a shot of it. How could Tommy Rees have hair left? I don't understand how you could have hair. Like, that's the thing, man. Bro, how can you be Tommy Rees just like walking around acting like you're doing your job? I don't understand. How can that dude just walk around town like, hey, I'm doing my job? You're not doing your job. Jeezy Pete's. All right, I got time for a couple more. 219, you're on the line.
Hey, John, what's up, brother?
This got to be JD. I recognize you. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, JD? Tell me.
The Lord works. The Lord works in mysterious ways, because I'm just like you, how crazy I am about Notre Dame. This is the one game I actually didn't get to watch them and only had to follow on Twitter where I was at. So that was even bad enough, but I can't imagine what I've been if I'm watching it. But so I can't really say, oh, here's what I saw in the game. But let me just tell you, Texas A&M just lost to Appalachian State. So they kind of just joined us with that. But there's 24 transfers, D1 transfers, and some from some Power 5 conferences that was on Marshall's team. I'm not giving excuses for Notre Dame. Everybody should be upset that we lost. But when you get those kids that come together that want to basically know, hey, this is the only game in their entire season that's going to be televised, and for them to do something on TV and to show everybody, hey, I left this school, here's what you missed. You let them come in there, get a little momentum, probably a little excitement, and that's what happened with, I feel like what probably happened with the game today.
I really like that angle. I really do like that angle. You hit on a couple things, JD, that are big picture stuff. Number one is everybody says this forever. When you're playing as the visiting team at Notre Dame, it is your Super Bowl, and everybody prepares for it all year. That game is circled, and they're going after you, and you are going to get everybody's best, even if it's a team their talent isn't that great. They're going to play great in the ghost of Newt Rockney's spirit or whatever. They're all going to come there and give us their best. And number two, JD, I like what you said about those transfers. Guys going in there with something to prove. They band together. You didn't want me, or I'm not good enough there. Watch what I'm going to do here. All of that came to play tonight, and it makes me sad.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, Notre Dame is everybody's Super Bowl, and we have to be ready to play every single game. Now, everyone's like thinking everything's falling apart. It's the worst loss in the world. I think next year when we play Jacksonville State, we lose that game. That's the end of the world. Marshall is still a D1 program. I'm saying it's not good to lose to them, but people over here are going crazy, fire Marcus, all that. No, we're not doing that. We're upset. Yes, you can be upset about the loss. You can throw things, you can break things, you can scream, you can get mad. But we're not at the point where let's get rid of Marcus, let's give up on the team. I'm not coming to the games. No, we're not that. If you got to be with your team through the good and the bad, because then when we do get the program turned around and he does take us to the big promised land, you can't hop back on board and go, oh my goodness, I believe, I'm always been here. Oh, go Irish, go Indy. Here's my Notre Dame stuff. So you got to stay with them during the bad. Doesn't mean you can't get mad, and it's okay to be upset and mad right now because I am as well. But you cannot just get rid of, I'm not rooting for Notre Dame. I'm giving up on them. Fire this guy. Get rid of this. I get it. We got to make changes and stuff, but we just can't. It's not falling apart yet. Not all the way.
Where do you start next week against Cal? What do you build off of? Where do you start? What do you build off of from here? Doesn't look like there's much, but where do you start? Is it defensively? Is there anything offensively you can grasp on? Where do you start?
If it's me, I'm Marcus. First of all, I'm going to tell the team, like the captains, you're having a players only meeting, and you guys need to figure out some stuff on what you want, kind of mentality you want to go into the game. And I think some other callers said it. I'd make practice this week the hardest practice you've had. I mean, one-on-ones. There is no ones versus two. It's one-on-ones versus everybody. I know that's sometimes hard. I mean, full tackling, not just, let's wrap up. Full tackling. We're going to see who wants to play and who doesn't. You can draw plays and say, hey, run this and all that. They got to be able to do it. And sometimes it's just the players on the field have to compete and make a play.
It's tough stuff, JD, but thanks for your call, man. And then we'll have a couple beers next week and we'll feel better about it.
Oh, yes. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
Thanks for doing this one.
No problem. I'll see you next week. Have a good one.
See you next weekend.
Yep.
Bye.
I know JD's down, man. He gets pumped up for these games. It's just rough. I'm sorry. It's just rough out here, man. Oh. Stephanie, it's your time to shine.
Hey, John, it's Indigo. How are you?
Good.
Those are great. That was a dumb question.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Tell me.
Get your playmakers on the field. Why is this hard? Why did Chris Tyree have 5 touches today? What even is that? Why doesn't Tobias Merriweather warrant a couple chances? I don't know. And the play calling got worse. Didn't think that was possible. Braden Lindsey, holy cow. I don't know what to do there.
It's just
here's what I don't get. Here's what I don't get. The players love Marcus. We all love Marcus. He's utterly lovable. They all say he is the most engaged coach they've ever had. Isaiah Foskey said, I've never had a coach be this close with me. Then why aren't they fighting for him? I do not understand. It was very clear they tolerated the former guy at best. But they would have pulled this game out for him. I don't understand why they can't pull it out for Marcus, who loves you, who would take a bullet from you. And where is your pride in Notre Dame? It just stuns me.
Yeah, it's tough. This
And
one
then-
changes things. That's the thing. That's what's really striking me. Like, that is the biggest thing I'm taking away from this is the first 1 and 2 with Freeman, there were built-in idiosyncrasies that were weird surrounding it. We all understand that. This one, there's no way around this one. Like, this was a total flop, no excuses, and there's no sugarcoating it. And you need to find a way. And Marcus needs to sit there and figure out the path forward, because this ain't cutting it. So something needs to change fast.
Well, in his post game, he did use the word execute and execution.
So did
about
Brian
10
Kelly.
times that I heard. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and that was very disheartening to me. But what Marcus also said was, we need to have some uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
Does that mean an uncomfortable conversation with Tommy Rees?
How can it
about,
not? I mean, how can you not?
We're taking this from you. We're taking this from you.
I do not know if I
We're not
see it getting
firing you.
there. Do you really think it could get there though, where you take that autonomy away from Reese? Like, do you really think that could happen and not cause some sort of issue? Do you think that's realistic? I don't know if it is or not. I'm genuinely asking.
I think the entire offense is frustrated and they know it's not working. And I think they would at this point be okay with it when you have scored 10 plus 25 second half points in your last, 25 points in your last 10 quarters of football. Yeah. Embarrassed on a national stage. An FCS school essentially shows up and beats you and gets to pour Gatorade on their coach. I think they'd be open to it. And I think the defense perhaps got more frustrated quicker than we've seen of our defenses in the past.
I think
we've had years.
I think it's because of the pressure to have to be perfect all the time, or they know the game's going to get away from them. I think that's a lot to ask of the defense. They have to play perfect, because if one first down happens, we're never going to score. So I can't imagine the pressure that puts on the defense. They have their issues too, but they're functional. They're functional, at least.
Yeah, well, giving up the 42-yard run in the fourth quarter was egregious. Giving up 3rd and 8 when Marshall's on their own 4-yard line, can't even talk about that. But I do think that, for years, the defense has bailed out the offense. And for 2 of those years, Tommy Rees was the OC, but not always. Before that, it was Chip Law. And I don't know, I guess cumulatively, the defense is over it. And Isaiah Foskey, I don't understand.
Is he injured? Does he have is he hobbled or something and we don't know about it? I've tried to be patient, but I really expected our guy being talked about as a 1st-round draft pick was even going to come back this year or not. I'm waiting for his name to be called. Is there an issue? Is he dinged up and I don't know about it?
Maybe. I can't speak to that. Has anyone today, because I've been in and out of this program, forgive me, I've had other work things happening. Could anyone lip read what Isaiah was screaming on the sideline?
I just saw a lot of F-bombs. It looks like it looks like it, but it's like, well, you just gave up probably the winning touchdown. Now's the wrong time to be mad about it. Be mad about it before you do that, so it doesn't happen.
Well, I couldn't tell if he's yelling, if he's exhorting his fellow players, if he's yelling at his fellow players, if he's yelling at the offense. I just couldn't figure it out.
It seemed to me like one of those, I'm sick of this BS. We need to all get it together type deals is how I interpreted it, but I'm not the best lip reader.
So I'll let you get to your final callers. I'll say it because I think we have to face some harsh facts. I think we just lost our independence. We don't have a TV deal. We're never getting a $60 million TV deal now. and we can live without $100 million a year of TV money. We can live without $75 million a year in TV money, but we needed that $60 million deal, and I don't think we get it now. So,
woo, man, Marshall just shut the whole Notre Dame NBC deal down. That's brutal. That's it, folks. Show's over. 2 hours. That ends it. Notre Dame's done.
I heard that Comcast is laying off 1,000 people and doing major cuts.
Interesting. Wow.
So they don't have money to throw around. So
that's an interesting angle.
That Amazon.
Wow.
I'm hearing that Apple and Amazon are interested in getting into sports. It would be super interesting if they wanted to be the new Notre Dame partner, because they've got money to burn and then some.
Right. Wow. That's interesting.
But honestly, I'm actually sick, because this really might be it. We can kiss our number 4 recruiting class goodbye. I mean, that's done. And the TV deal is over after next year. I don't see a replacement one. Meanwhile, the SEC teams are going to get what, $100 million each of TV money?
I think so. Somewhere in the ballpark. It's ugh.
So
you just keep coming up with more problems to add onto the pile, don't you? Just give me another one.
I'm a realist. We just lost to Marshall. Drew Pine, that interception was inexcusable anywhere, even on an 8th grade football team.
It's not great. Things are not
we're
great.
We're going backwards. So this never goes away. It's the horrible thing. This never goes away. We lost Marshall at home. This is
not good.
Institution. It will. I mean, if we win a national championship, it'll go away. Other than that,
it's a rough one.
And I think Marcus was hamstrung from the start.
Catastrophic. That's the word. That's how I started the show. That's how I'm going to end it. Catastrophic. That's what this was. Yeah, it changes a lot, and not in good ways. And it makes us have to have conversations none of us wanted to have, and it's a red flag that we're having them. And it's just a bad place to be. So thank you for calling, though, again. Don't let it ruin your weekend. It's not, just don't. Have fun.
All right. You too, John.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. All right. We have gone 2 hours. There's a bunch of callers. I'm sorry, guys. I got to go. I was not planning on doing a post-game show, but it had to. It had to happen. Everybody online on the calls, listen, Monday morning, 9 to 11. I know that's a tough time for a lot of folks. 9 to 11, we're going to have a call-in show again. Anybody who's available didn't get in on this one, do it Monday morning, 9 to 11. 312-988-15. We have a lot to talk about because things are terrible. That being said, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be thankful for the blessings you do have. Hang out with your family and friends. The sun might come up tomorrow. Good night, everybody.